guys, for today's card I wanted to create something a little more involved, something with a little more detail. Normally when I do these videos for card projects, I usually take the easy way out and I do like a cleaning graphic one, but lately my style has had a little bit more detail in it, like stitching and distressing and things like that. So I wanted to try to see if I could capture that. So today's card we're going to be using two of our older sets, and these are just really good basic sets actually. This is our Design Basics Classroom Backgrounds, and we released this, I think it was around this time last year, and it's just great for creating backgrounds. If you like ledger paper or lined paper, this is perfect for creating those. So you could do it in any color on any paper, and on pattern paper like I'm going to do today. And we're going to be using, I think we're just going to be using a sentiment from this set. This is Class Act, and this was released last year around this time as well. So these are both just great sets for back to school, anything office themed or anything like that. These are just really good sets to have in your stash, so let's get to it. Okay, we're going to be using a lot of pattern paper today on this card, and we're going to be doing some stamping on pattern paper as well. And I'm going to be using the Clippings collection by Basic Gray. I cannot get enough of this paper. If you guys saw our August-September release, then you know I used it a ton. But there's just a lot of really great patterns in here and a lot of really good colors. So we're going to pick out a couple pieces, and we're going to be using one and this one. Okay, so these are the papers that I'm going to be working with on this card today, and you'll notice I've actually got quite a bit of what we called neutrals and then one loud pattern. These are actually solid with distressing. This one has just a really subtle lined pattern, if you can see that. And then this one is just the polka dots, and then this quilted pattern. This one's super busy. So these are the papers we're going to be working with. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cut down a lot of the pieces that we will be using for the base. And we're starting off with our Oatmeal cardstock. This is probably my favorite cardstock. It is cut to A2 card size. So it's 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 inches tall, and I've cut down this quilted looking pattern paper to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and this one is going to go here as our base. This is about 2 inches tall here. It's going to go across the bottom like this, and then we're going to do some stamping on this pattern paper, and it's going to go in the center here. Let's see. I know I'm going to do some stitching, so I'm going to temporarily adhere this to here on this piece of paper. And then I can flip this over and trim off my excess. Okay, by temporarily adhering this to here but not to my card base, now I can do all my stitching on here and leave my inside of my card base clean. So I think I'm going to do a zigzag stitch across here, and then once this goes on I'm going to do a zigzag stitch around the outside as well. But we can go ahead and do our stamping on this panel. So I'm going to lay down some scratch paper, and I'm also going to lay down my embossing mat from my Big Shot. Whenever I'm using big stamps, I like to use this, and it kind of helps to get good pressure, even coverage of that stamp. I'm going to be using 3 of the backgrounds from our classroom backgrounds right here. I'm going to be creating this right here on here, so it'll look kind of like the inside of an old composition notebook. We're also going to be using some Tim Holtz Distress ink in Vintage Photo because I want it to have that, that older, worn look. And then we have a little extra space down here, and what I can use to fill that in is another one of the images from the set. We have just this lined notebook paper background. Okay, so now that we have that all stamped, it looks kind of like this nice old vintage paper. I've gone ahead and used our clear cut pinking squares, our clear cut stackers, the pinking squares here, to cut a little square out of that striped paper, and that is going to go here in the middle. I think this being a little brighter, even though it's black and white, it has a brighter tone because it's almost on a whiter background than the others. It picks up some of the lightness from this back here, this pattern back here. So we're going to do that, and I've used our Pretty Patches apple die to die cut an apple, and then I just used some crochet thread to go ahead and stitch on some buttons here. And this stuff is super cheap. I picked it up at Michael's. It's this stuff right here. Big old honking wad of it. This one will go in the middle. And then I really want to pick up some more of the turquoise, that turquoisey blue color in the background. So I've used our Label Layers 2 die to die cut that shape out of some turquoise paper here, some aqua colored paper. And you'll notice I cut it up into pieces. So if you were to piece it back together, so that's the original shape. And then I just used, you can use a craft knife and a ruler or your paper trimmer, whichever. I just cut off the edges here. So I'm going to go ahead and lightly attach these to the top and bottom of this panel. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the stitching now. I'm going to go ahead and stitch all this down, and then I will be back. Okay, all the stitching is done. I went ahead and distressed these edges just a little bit. I didn't want to dirty it up too much because I like how it's light and it pulls the aqua from the background, but I didn't want it to be too bright. So the stitching's done. Everything's been pulled to the back and tied off. It's going to go here, but before I adhere it, I wanted to, this needs a mat of some sort. So something like this right here. That's just a little too bright though, so we're gonna stamp it. Instead of using brown this time though, we're gonna use the blue, because I again want to pull some more of that blue to the forefront. So I'm using Stampin' Up's Baja Breeze. Okay, and then I'm going to ink this with some distress ink. So for this distressing, I'm going to use Antique Linen first. And I'm just going to make this kind of really dirty. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with a little bit of Vintage Photo just to further define some of those edges. Okay, and then we're going to stamp our sentiment, and our sentiment is going to go right along the bottom here, and it is from Class Act. We're going to be using the You're the Best sentiment, and we're going to stamp that in red. So this is going to go directly onto here, so I can go ahead and adhere that. The buttons I was talking about adding, and then maybe connecting them back here, and if we did that, then we could pop this up. Okay, so here's what I've done. I've stuck the twine through the button here just once, went up and then back down, so it looks like that on the back. I'm just gonna cross these in the back, and then I'm gonna stick a glue dot right on top of that just to hold those in place. So now that I've got the glue dot on the back there, that'll hold that and it won't let it go anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this where I want it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stick this one in place. And then we're going to bring this down and under and back up. Maybe 3 times. Okay, now we can go ahead and adhere this to here. So we're going to put a lot of adhesive on the back here. We're going to line it up at the bottom. Okay. Then we're going to place this on pop dots. So let's get that centered. So that's my card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any requests or anything else you'd like to see me attempt or try, you can leave it in the comments below. You can find all of our stamps and supplies at www.wplus9.com, and be sure to stop by our design blog, which you can get to from our website. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.